For the longest time, I honestly thought something was wrong with me. Because my absolute favorite moments, the ones that felt the most real, were the ones I spent completely by myself.
I'm talking about that feeling. A quiet room, maybe a good book, and just this deep sense of contentment. It's not loneliness, right? And it's not some kind of relief, like you're escaping something bad. It's just a feeling of being whole.
And yet, the world so often looks at that peace and asks that one question. It's like they see an absence, a void, where I, and maybe you too, feel this incredible fullness.
And the crazy part is, for years, I believed them. I actually thought this core part of who I am was a flaw that I needed to fix. This explainer is all about what I finally figured out. Being comfortable alone doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're built differently.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Because the real problem isn't the solitude itself. It never was. It's the constant, exhausting pressure to perform sociability, just to make everyone else feel comfortable. And it creates this vicious cycle, doesn't it? You do what feels totally natural, but then other people treat it like a problem. So you start to believe it is a problem. Then you try to fix it by forcing yourself to be social, and you just end up feeling completely drained. You're trying to fix something that was never, ever broken. And that feeling of being totally wiped out, that's a real thing. Psychologists call it being cognitively expensive. It's basically the mental energy it costs to hit pause on your own internal world, to track someone else's. And for some of us, that cost is just really, really high. But then I started thinking, what if the problem isn't the cost, but what you're giving up by paying it? And I stumbled upon this concept that just perfectly explains what's really going on inside our heads when we're alone and happy.
It's the idea of having a rich inner world. It basically means your mind is its own entertainment system. It's naturally busy, naturally interesting. It doesn't need a ton of input from the outside world because it's already running its own pretty fascinating show.
Think of it like this. You've got external stimulation from people, from events, and you've got internal stimulation, which is self-generated by your own curiosity and thoughts. Many people need that external buzz to feel engaged, but for some of us, our brains are simply wired to prefer the rich, complex stuff we create ourselves.
And get this isn't just a personality quirk. It is neurologically real. There's a part of the brain called the default mode network. It's in charge of your internal monologue, self-reflection, all that stuff. And in people who love solitude, that network is just more active. Your brain isn't bored. It's busy.
So once you realize that, once you understand that your brain is just happily doing its thing, it sparks this huge shift in perspective. You can start to reframe everything. You stop seeing solitude as emptiness. You start to see that for you, being alone is when the most interesting things are actually going on. Your mind is connecting ideas, solving problems, exploring things. That's where the action is. So here it is, the crucial reframe. The old way of thinking is solitude is an absence of connection. The new thought? Solitude is a deep engagement with yourself. It's not about avoiding the world. It's about fully engaging with your internal one.
And this is why it is such a game changer. The second you stop treating your nature like a problem you have to solve, you stop wasting all that precious energy on the performance cycle. You get it all back.
So that all sounds great, right? But how do you actually put it into practice? How do you break that exhausting cycle for good? Well, it comes down to a really simple but powerful 4-step blueprint.
It took me a while to figure this out, but it really boils down to these 4 things. Identify, name, stop justifying, and notice. So let's walk through them.
Okay, first step, identify. Just start to notice the moments when you say yes to a party or force small talk, not because you want to, but because you feel like you're supposed to. That right there, that's the performance.
Second, name it. Be really honest with yourself. In that moment, what is the internal activity you're actually craving? Is it thinking through a project, getting lost in a book, maybe just sitting quietly? Name what you'd rather be doing.
Now, this is probably the hardest part. Step 3, stop justifying. You do not need to give a 5-minute excuse for why you can't go out. A simple, I'm not up for it tonight, but thank you, is enough. Your own peace is reason enough. And finally, the 4th step, notice the result. After you honor your need for solitude, check in with how you feel. Not guilty, not weird, but restored. You have your energy back because you finally gave yourself what you actually needed. When you start doing this, you really move away from guilt and toward this feeling of acceptance. And it leads to a final, really grounded insight about what solitude truly is. It's not an absence. It's a different kind of presence.
This quote just says it all. It's not about getting good at tolerating being bored or being without other people. It's about discovering the deep truth that for you, solitude was never empty to begin with. It's about the presence of yourself.
So your ability to be alone, to be genuinely content in your own company, that's not a social failure. That's a profound form of self-awareness. It means you're comfortable with the person you find when no one else is around.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. The next time you choose to be alone, consider this. What if you're not missing out on the world? What if you're finally tuning in to the most interesting conversation you could possibly have?